Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60. Today we're going to be talking about growing up poor in China and what does it do to you when you get older. Okay, I have a little bit of input on this as my wife, she grew up poor in China. Her father had a Nanning Hukou, which is a family book in China. It tells you where you're supposed to live. His wife, my wife's mother, my wife and her brother had a Binyang Hukou. So back in the 70s and early 80s, you couldn't just go buy rice. You're issued rice tickets by the government. So if you weren't from Nanning, you couldn't get a rice ticket in Nanning, so you starve. You don't get no food. Okay, but see, because Wei Feng's father was from Nanning and had a Nanning Hukou, he got one rice ticket for himself. Okay, well, there's 4 of them in the family. So one person's rice ticket has to feed 4 people. Well, unless you go out and you buy rice tickets off other people. And that's what basically happened, that they had to buy rice tickets off other people, or Wei Feng's uncle would give them rice tickets every once in a while when he had more than they needed. See, Wei Feng's father used to work in a textile company in Nanning, but in the 70s that shut down, and he was given a severance package of about 6,000 Canadian dollars. Okay, bought a car, tried to run his little cab company out of his car. That didn't work. Car broke down. It's gone. So he ended up working on the streets fixing bicycles. So Wei Feng's mom and dad were fixing bicycles on the street, and this is how they made a living. They had a little 3-story house, but it wasn't theirs. It was a family house. So the mom lived on one floor, the sister lived on one floor, the brother lived on one floor. So and this is pretty sad little place. It's all cinder block. There's no air conditioning. There's no heat. When it's 45 degrees outside, it's 45 degrees inside, and when it's 5 degrees outside, it's 5 degrees inside. So you're looking at a pretty sad existence for most of the year here in Nanning, because it gets hot in the summertime, cold in the wintertime. So they're all living in this place, a 1-bedroom apartment. Well, with the cinder blocks, they have cinder blocks with holes in them, so the air could go through, give it a little bit of breeze, I guess. That's nice, except for you can't keep out the cockroaches, you can't keep out the centipedes, you can't keep out the rats. So there's always a problem with rats, centipedes, cockroaches, flies, mosquitoes, you name it, in the house. Okay, well, that's nice. And then outside their window, because these houses are stuck close together, the neighbor's roof was right outside their kitchen window. Where does he keep all of his chickens? And yeah, on the roof. So you've got the smell of chickens wafting through your kitchen all the time. So sometimes I talk to Wei Feng about this, and she's sort of embarrassed about growing up poor in China, where it's not her fault. It was the circumstances. She was a child, and I guess you learn from it. That's why kids here that come from poor backgrounds study their butts off when they go to school, because they want to better themselves. They don't want to live like their parents, so they want a better life than their parents, and their parents are paying for this schooling. And the parents want a better life for their children too. This little apartment, or 3rd floor of a house that my wife, her brother, her mother and father lived in, had no toilet. It did have a shower, a hole in the floor, so you could probably pee there. And it just went into an open sewer behind the houses, between the houses type thing, into the storm sewer, and away it went. So they would have to go to a public toilet, and this is from the time my wife was born until she was 32 years old. So that's a long time to be going to a public toilet. It actually got bad enough at one point that her father was raising pigs in their kitchen. Yeah, and just think how you would feel if you were in high school or middle school and you had to go to school smelling of pig shit. I would imagine that's why my wife never had a boyfriend in school. I don't know. But, you know, it got so bad that her father actually raised pigs in the kitchen of their home for a while, just so they could have enough to eat, which is pretty sad if you think about it. You know, going to that level, stooping to that level, or having to go to that level to put food on the table for your family. You know, you got to give kudos to Wei Fong's father. He worked his butt off on the street every day, fixing bicycles to raise his family, put them in school, feed them, clothe them, you know, pay for the power, the water, all of this stuff from fixing bicycles on the street. So, you know, he had to work pretty hard, and I give him credit for that. One of the stories that my wife told me sort of broke my heart in a way. You know, coming from a poor family, they don't have any money. They lived on about $50 Canadian per month, so about 300 RMB. Sure, that's back a long time ago, but still, $50 a month, that's a pretty sad existence. Anyway, my wife was telling me about her birthday one time when she was a kid. She remembers that her mom is a sweetheart, or was a sweetheart. She passed away about 6 years ago. Because they had nothing to give her for her birthday, her mom hard-boiled an egg, colored the egg, and gave her the egg for her birthday, so that she could get something for her birthday. How sad is that? All of this was a number of years ago. Like Wei Fong and myself have been married for over 14 years now, so it's sort of history. But what does that do to you? Growing up poor in China, what does that do to you when you're an adult? Well, about 9-10 years ago, we came back from China, and Wei Fong had a $20 Canadian bill in her pocket. 6 months later, she still had that $20 Canadian bill in her pocket. She wouldn't spend it. She was frugal enough, so frugal, that she just wouldn't go out and spend her money. She'd save it. Every penny she would save. You know, the apartment, and I'll put a clip in here of the 3 buckets of water in my bathroom. You see my bathroom here. We've got 3 pails of water. What do you think that's for? Well, when you wash clothes with this machine, the water comes out there, they put it in the buckets, and then they use the buckets and this little cup to flush that toilet. Why? Because water costs money. Why 3 buckets of water in the bathroom? Because when when the washing machine empties out, it's got about 3 buckets of water in it, so they fill the buckets up instead of letting that water waste. What do you do with the water? Well, of course, you flush the toilet with it. Yes, our water bill is about 50 RMB, 60 RMB every 3 months. So $4 a month, but still, they'll go to that level of saving water to flush the toilet. Our apartment is always dark. Why is it always dark? Because you're not allowed to turn the lights on during the day. Even on a real cloudy, dingy day, the lights are off. Why? I turn the lights on. 2 seconds later, somebody comes behind me and turns the lights off. Why? Because electricity costs money. So they don't spend their money frugally. They're cheap, and they learn to be cheap because life was so hard for them when they were younger that they've just learned not to waste money, which is, I guess, a pretty good thing. My wife is always saying, do we have enough money? And I'm saying, I don't know, do we? You know, and then she gets really worried when if I say I don't know, then she gets really worried. You know, I don't think we have anything to worry about. And you know, we got lucky in a couple of different businesses that we ran. And you know, but the idea that she always worries about money. Oh, I should go get a job. Well, we're retired, Wei Fong. You don't need a job. Oh, but what if we run out of money? You know, and this is always on her mind. So that's another side effect of growing up poor in China, that you're always worried that you're gonna run out of money. Another thing I notice when Wei Fong goes shopping, if it's not on sale, it's not going to be bought. and she goes out of her way to wait for sales. She times her shopping, and I guess that's a good thing. I don't think there's too many Canadian wives out there that do that to that level. But it goes further than that. When we go shopping for groceries, she'll shop around on vegetables. Some are 2 RMB a pound, some are 3 RMB a pound, and she'll go around, and if she finds one that's 2.5 RMB instead of 3 RMB, that's where she'll do her shopping. And she'll keep that in mind for the next time she goes shopping, because it's cheaper there. And you know, saving a half an RMB here and a half an RMB there, or 1 RMB here and 1 RMB there, that's the way she shops. And you know, we don't spend a lot of money in China because my wife is like that. One of the largest byproducts of growing up poor in China is I see that Weifang, I guess when you go through hard times with people, you know, family or friends or whatever, it brings you, I guess, closer together. So what I saw with Weifang and her mom, her dad and her brother is that, okay, Weifang's life got better when she moved to Canada, but she didn't forget about her family. She made sure that we sent money home to mom and dad and the brother every month so they could have a better life. Bought them a house. Well, not them. We bought ourselves an apartment in Nanning, but the family moved in there, of course, from the old place, because the old place was a shithole. You know, it wasn't a good place to live. So now mom is gone, but dad and brother are still alive. But see, it wasn't good enough to just send money home. It wasn't good enough just to buy an apartment for them to live in. I used to do some immigration work, Canadian immigration work, so we helped her brother immigrate to Canada. Now he lives in Vancouver. He's a cook in Vancouver, and he's doing pretty well. So his life got better. Okay. The old man, he didn't have old age pension or old age security, so we paid for his old age security. So now he gets his 1,800 or 1,900 RMB every month. So he's got his own money to spend, so we don't have to give him money. It gives him a sense of pride that he gets his own money, which is good. Everybody should have that, you know. So the idea that her life got better, she moved to Canada, but she didn't forget about her family, which is really good. I respect her for that. Oh, and I can't forget about the old man saving every can, every newspaper. If an electrical, like a radio or anything, goes down broken, he saves that too. Everything goes to the recycle guy. Everything goes to nothing gets thrown away. So he makes himself a couple dollars here and a couple dollars there, recycling cans, newspapers, everything he can get his hands on, from cardboard to you name it. And that's another byproduct of growing up poor in China, that they don't throw anything away. I'm telling you, everything gets recycled here in China. You know, you're looking at the houses behind me here. These are really nice places compared to where my wife lived when she was a child. You know, these have windows. These have you know, brick walls, not cinder block with holes in them. But you know, you can see some of the, I guess, over on that building over there. It's got sort of like the flower cinder blocks in it. That's what I'm talking about, where the wind can go through, so can the bugs and the rats and, you know, whatever. It's one of those things that, this is China. You just can't get away from it. It's either do that or air condition the living bejesus out of the place, and they just won't do that because it's too expensive. When it's 40 above in our home, I come home and I turn the AC on. Well, 20 minutes later somebody turns it off. Well, why would they do that? Well, it costs money. Well, yeah, but I'm uncomfortable. I'm a Canadian. I can't handle 45 degrees in the house, you know. Try sleeping in that stuff. Oh, you just melt. Anyway, that's another video from Gweilo 60 on growing up poor in China and what does it do to you. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button. Thanks for watching, and bye now. So, this is how Chinese girls eat fish heads. Come on, do it. Oh, she sucks it. Come on, she sucks the whole head.
Oh, eyeballs and everything. My God. This is supper at Gweilo 60s home. I tell you, it's an experience in itself.